Hey everybody, this is Wendy Ponomarenko. I'm the art teacher and librarian at Temple Emanu-El. As part of the ongoing library project, I've been reading a book a night and recording it and editing it and putting it up on the Temple Facebook page. And tonight I am reading Yuvi's Candy Tree, which is another story about Ethiopian Jews making it to Israel, although this particular group was not brought by plane necessarily from the Israeli government. These ones actually made it to a Sudanese refugee camp and walking and being attacked by robbers the entire time, and they had an amazing ordeal that they went to. This one's based on an absolutely true story, and it's a great story, so I hope you enjoy. This is Yuvi's Candy Tree by Lesley Simpson. Illustrations by Janice Lee Porter. And if you guys didn't know that, this hedgehog here that's been helping me this whole time, that's Henry. I escaped on a donkey in the dark. I wore my white dress with embroidered flowers. I rode on a donkey because I was only 5. I had no shoes. My aunts whispered about robbers. I was afraid of the hyena's screech. At night we ran. Our dresses whooshed in the wind. My grandmother told me not to be afraid. We're going to Jerusalem. We have angels with us. We'll fly home. During the day, we slept under trees, hiding. My dress turned the color of dirt. We played Shabbat by packing mud into pretend dabu, our Ethiopian bread. We slurped make-believe coffee made of stones. We pretended to be mothers, showering our cousins with pebbles. My mother was already in Jerusalem with my baby brother. Now it was my turn. My grandmother made a harness so I would not fall off. I waved to the moon and the stars, snuggled under the donkey's belly. We're going to Jerusalem, said my grandmother. We have angels with us. We'll fly home. I did not see angels. I saw only sand. Wind whipped the sand into my mouth, and I was thirsty. I dreamed of candy. Once my father brought it from the market, hard and white, small and sweet. We're going to our real home, to Israel, said my grandmother. In Jerusalem, your wishes will come true. But the next morning I saw men. Robbers, I cried. We had money hidden in the hems of our clothes, but the robbers tore at the hems, grabbed the money, and ran. We hid most of the money we had left in the babies' backpacks, but more robbers came, and they stole the backpacks. We're going to Jerusalem. We have angels with us. We'll fly home, said my grandmother. We'll be back, the robbers said, laughing as they rode away. We had a tiny bit of money left, tucked under the donkey's blanket. Hide the money in the donkey's cheeks, I suggested. Yuvi, the donkey will eat it, said my grandmother. Then hide the money in my cheeks, I said, opening my mouth. Yuvi, you might eat it, said my grandmother. I hid the money under my curls. Clever girl, said my grandmother. The robbers came back. They pulled at our torn hems. They looked in our empty backpacks. No money, we said. I was afraid they could see through my curls. The robbers are not as smart as you, whispered my grandmother. We are going to Jerusalem. We have angels with us. We'll fly home. We ran many nights. We slept many days. My feet bled. We drank from the muddy river. My tummy ached. Finally, we arrived at the refugee camp. The next week, we climbed the stairs to a big airplane. People pushed and shoved. The engine's roar hurt my ears. My grandmother held my hand. I patted my head and felt the money. My grandmother winked. In Jerusalem there will be candy, clothes, and games, she said. and as much bread as you can eat. I imagined orchards of candy trees. You could eat as much as you wanted, and the candy would grow back. I imagined bread in my hands, bread stuffed into my pockets, and pillows of bread. There was a hush on the plane when we landed in Israel. We made our way through the busy airport and onto a bus. We were going to Jerusalem. I looked out the window. "What is that?" I asked. "Orange trees," said the bus driver. "What happens if you pick an orange?" I asked. "They grow back. Eat as many as you want," said the driver. "They're juicy and sweet." And now I understood. But the bus driver had the name wrong. I had found my candy tree in Israel. The end. The real Yuvi, her name is Yuvemert, which is an Ethiopian name, but she went by Yuvi for short. She told her story to Lesley Simpson, who was a reporter in Toronto, and the author of this book. And they came to Israel as part of an operation called Operation Moses, which was airlifting Ethiopians from Sudanese refugee camps into Israel. In Israel, there's a belief that any Jew who wishes to live in the Holy Land has the opportunity to do so. That's just a part of their motto, their beliefs. So the Ethiopian Jews, who had been mistreated quite a bit, were all making their way over, and they did it in waves, and many of them had severe ordeals that they went through. From the book Yosef's Dream that I read the other day to Yuvi's Candy Tree, these stories are wonderfully valuable stories of the immigrant experience, especially for those coming from Ethiopia, which is not something we hear a whole lot here in America. After searching a whole lot, after reading Yosef's Dream, this was the only other book about the Ethiopian Jews that I was able to find. So yeah, this one illustrates a lot of the diversity within the Jewish community, and I'm very glad that we have it. I hope you get a chance to read it. Enjoy.